Trump. Donald Trump is being prophesied about his downfall, assassinations, being kicked out of the office. I'm here to let you people know, the people that want to hear the truth and nothing but the truth, I do not mind people taking this back to God. Take it back. But this prophet, and I'm not going to say her name for privacy reasons, had a dream about Donald Trump saying to her face calmly to close your mouth, shut your mouth and say nothing, or you will suffer the consequences. But you're still prophesying the downfall of Donald Trump. I'm here to tell you, and I pray that it gets to Donald Trump. There is not going to be a weapon that forms against you that will prosper. You will face weapons. People will try to impeach you. People will try to assassinate you. People will try to bring down Christ. Why? Because he's anointed by God. Any person that is sent by God for God will be tried by the hands of Satan. People are going to spread lies. People are going to persecute him. Why? Because he's doing the will of God. He's not going to have no downfall. No one is going to kill him, and he's going to fulfill the 4 years term because he's carrying out God's will. I am tired of people lying and bringing people away from God's will. This country, this nations have had their chance, and you wanted to elect people who was going to destroy the nation, who was for abortions. God hates abortions. He's not for killing. He's not for murder. You wanted people who was going to allow sex trafficking, immigration. These people who was for same-sex marriages. God is against it. He calls it an abomination. But the first person who actually proclaims his love for Jesus, the first person who actually lets God be part of his life, that allows people and pastors and all these people to pray for him, is the one that everybody hates all of a sudden. They prophesied it saying that he wasn't going to finish his second term, or that he wasn't going to be president. He's president. Whether this country, this nations like it or not, that man is fulfilling the will of God. And a lot of people is not going to like it. Why do you think he won? I knew Trump was going to win. I told my family before the election even happened, days, weeks before, that it was going to be Trump over Kamala Harris. God showed me the vote count through a dream. He showed me that Donald Trump was going to have a lot more electoral votes than she did. It was all a part of the delusion. It was set up by God to let you see that God has the last say, not man. He gave y'all your presidents. He gave you your governments. He gave you what you asked for. Now it's time for him to do what he wants. Why is it that everybody can get everything they want, but the moment God says, I want this and I want this to happen, everybody has a problem with it? God doesn't do the way you want to do, and that's the problem. Please stop lying on this man. God has already warned you through this man in a dream. We all know that God speaks through dreams. This is a warning to you. Please keep your mouth off of God's anointed. This man is anointed to carry out the will of God. Just how they say in the Bible, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. No, he's not a prophet, but he's anointed by God, just like Saul was. Just like Samuel, David, Moses. He is to be a leader, a person who is to be feared, so that he will not be taken advantage of. Because the people y'all wanted was going to destroy this country. It's okay for the people who works to suffer while everyone else gets to sit down and have nothing. They get to do their life and watch others suffer to provide for you, when we should be provided for because we are the ones working. I'm sorry to tell you, but the truth is there will be no death of Trump. I don't care what anyone says. What is going to happen will happen. Just like I told y'all about Los Angeles and all these other states that borders it. They're going through freezes, the wildfires. I've already spoken about this, and it came to pass. And so will this. The will of God will suffice. God is righteous and he is perfect and he is just and he has been merciful and patient with us. God did not change his mind. It was a delusion, people. He wanted you to think that Kamala was going to win. For those who did not believe that God had the last say, he allowed you to see for yourself, and that is what happened. It was a setup, and I already know this. That was way before I started a YouTube channel. Because no one listens to me, but I'm not offended by it. Someone will hear 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 millions. I'm not here for gain or fame or whatever you want to call it. We've had our chance. Now it is God's time to reign. Because if you wouldn't, and he would have allowed us to make the decision, you think it's bad with Trump. Russia and China were always allies. Since the 1800s with Joseph Stalin. They always been allies. That never changed. But when it comes to the presidency of this nation, God chose a person who will stand firm and have a backbone. Trump do not care what people thinks. And that's what this nation needs. A person who is going to stand up for them. Who's going to use their power to the will of God. Please do not think that Trump is going to fall. Because I'm here to tell you right now, it will not happen. Yeah, you're going to hear about the attempts they tried to make. You're going to hear about it, but it will not happen. Whatever they try will be falling. That's the downfall you're going to see. The reason I come off as aggressive is because it is tiring. You're speaking against someone that God chose. It is clear as day that God chose him. They tried to assassinate him almost 3 times and that man is still breathing. But nobody tried to assassinate Biden. Nobody tried to assassinate Kamala. Nobody tried to assassinate Obama. But Trump always is attempted, it seems. John F. Kennedy. They tried with John F. Kennedy. They won with him. Abraham Lincoln, they won with him. Y'all had y'all turn. Now it's time for y'all to sit down, be quiet, and let God do his work. Because just how you don't like what God is doing, God don't like what y'all was doing on what y'all are doing. Y'all praying for the death of a man that is trying to fix a country. Trying to make it easier, not only for the middle class, but for people that don't even deserve it. What God says he will do, whether you like it or not. God's will always stand before man's. If God didn't want him as president, he wouldn't have allowed him to be president and didn't win by as much as he did. Whether you like it or not. My own grandmother wanted Kamala Harris, and I told her the prophecy that Trump was going to be president. And it came to pass whether she liked it or not. And it came to pass. Before the electoral votes came in, before the nomination happened, I told them exactly how it was going to go down. Why is it the way that it is and what is going to happen afterwards? This nation had its chance to pick its presidents. Now it's time for y'all to sit down and swallow God's pill. Take the doses that he's given you. Because God has suffered this nation enough with his patience. We caused him to suffer for no reason at all. Whether we want to believe it or not. And I couldn't rest and continue doing what I was doing until I tell you this. I'm not here trying to start arguments. I'm not doing none of that. I want the truth to be heard and only the truth, not sugar-coated lies, talking about how the nations is stupid and people are being ignorant. You don't believe me. You believe what God says, and God will fulfill what he will fulfill. But at the end of the day, we don't make the decisions. God did. And you saw what happens when we make decisions. You saw what it brought. Disgusting destruction. And for this prophet that's had this dream, close your mouth. Because God is warning you. Keep your mouth off of his anointed. Because if you don't, God will get you. He's warned you. If you've had this dream, you best heed him. This is not no just random dream. And then you go on and you prophesy something else. Because twice you've already lied. It's best you be quiet and accept the fact of who God is and what he said. If he told that to you, you may want to stop. You may want to stop because you're playing with fire. You're lying in the name of God, and it's not fair. It's not right. It's wrong. Stop it, please, because you're leading people astray and people are believing you, and it's not true. One prophecy or not, that fails. If you lie, you are considered a liar, especially when you put God in it. If you lied about it, you need to repent, and not to the people, to God. We can't save your soul. Only God can. We don't want your repentance. And he's telling you to be quiet because you're already in a deep hole. And that goes for any other false prophet or pastor or teacher or bishop or whatever you want to call yourselves. You know you're lying in the name of God, and people are calling you out because God has grace, his mercy. His mercy and his grace will not end until the world is ended. When that trumpet sounds and he raptures his people. Y'all may want to have ears to hear and eyes to see, because if you don't, y'all are going to fall in a deep hole. The blind can't lead a blind, because guess what? You're both going to fall into the ditch. Jesus ain't said that for nothing. These blind guides holding y'all by the hand who don't even have what they need to walk. They don't know what they're doing, where they're going, but they're trying to teach you something. Stop listening to these people, guys. The people who tells you the truth is the people who is not even known. They're not known about. I don't want your fame. I don't want the glory. That's supposed to go for God and God only. But to wrap up this message, nothing will happen to Trump. He will walk out unscathed, and everything they try will be casted to the ground, because he is anointed by God like King Saul was. So please stop with the lies, because you're going to be put to shame each and every time. Everybody that goes against God's will be put to shame, and especially the false prophets, because that's what he hates the most. He hates people that lies in his name. He hates it, and it's time for you to stop. And that's all of your warnings. Stop. And let that be known, and a reminder. God is not mocked, and you will reap what you sow. You sow in discord, you will reap discord, but worse. Don't forget it.